calling you a radical. So I want to put up a video. I've hesitated to do this. I put up a video just minutes after, we all saw the heartbreaking video. And when they detained George, had him, and I hurried and put up a video, I says, there ain't no way George did this. Everybody in this state knows this guy. Everybody. All law enforcement know him. He shows up to, I've known him for 50 years. Crackpot? Oh, fuck. Crazier than hell. He's always at everything. He always forces his way right into the front. I've seen him get somewhat confrontational. I've never seen him be violent, though. I mean, when I was protesting the greenwashing bus, he come up and got in my face. And I'm like, dude, back the fuck off, Very cordial, whatever. He's a crackpot. And so, listen, he's a crackpot. Always was a crackpot. He's Leslie Hodson's nephew, by the way, the famous architect here. But he's everywhere and everything, and he always has to be the center of attention. And so when the first reports came out, I'm like, what are you talking about? Anybody with half a brain saw it was a long shot. It was a sniper. So, I'm like, he's got to be the center of attention. Go ahead, shoot me. I mean, dude's whacked. Everybody knows he's crazy. All law enforcement knows him in this state. I mean, he's everywhere. He was at the spring football practice here, Like I said, always got to be right in the middle. So, I mean, I always felt the guy was a whack job. I always kept my distance from the guy. But, I mean, that whole thing, how can people say, well, he slowed them down from catching? Bullshit. Listen, here at Weber State, this is the gold stand for campus police. The campus police here are the best in the country. I know them all personally. Their work is so paramount. They're cordial, they're nice, they're kind, they're engaged with everybody. Look, these universities are public institutions. There are hundreds of people a day here at Weber State from the community. It's a community place. Their surveillance here is top notch. Remember when that nightmare happened in University of Utah? What a joke. Horrible policing. The policing down there was beyond a joke. This should have never happened to Charlie. And I never agreed with one thing Charlie ever said, per se. But what I did like about the guy, I really liked he opened up First Amendment. He opened up conversations that a lot of people aren't willing to have. Very when he shows up to a campus that size, that campus is gigantic. I think they have more students on that campus than even BYU and University of Utah and Weber. With that big of a crowd, he's that controversial, and they got no fucking security. Are you kidding me? The campus police, are they at fault? Oh, yes. What? Not one single drone in the air? Not one single. There's videos of a guy. Hey, look, there's the guy right there. Are you kidding? And the shooter. Now, I need to clarify this. The shooter, well, I've always said it, 4.0 students are the worst. I mean, we need to stop with the grade inflation. In my class, I used to do pass-fail. We know the most successful dynamic people are 2.75 GPAs. We know that historically. We know that. This whole, you got to be a 4.0 and get a perfect score on your SAT. Well, they practice those regurgitation. That's who this young man was. This young man was in the 99th percentile of college acceptance testing scores. Presidential scholarship. I mean, he was no dummy. 4.0 student. He started shooting as a kid. His mom and dad as soon as I saw it was a 30-06, I'm born and raised in Utah, and I know the dynamic in southern Utah. The gun culture is heavy, far right-wing in southern Utah. Probably the most far right-wing demographic in the country. Heavy gun culture, heavy hunting culture, and he grew up, as soon as I saw it was 30-06, I'm like, this kid grew up hunting with mom and dad or grandpa, which he did. I mean, so this whole thing that he couldn't possibly, oh, please. 30-06 with a scope, he was able to break it down into his backpack, put it back. This kid had been around guns since he was a child. I mean, these type of guns. He'd been shooting since he was a little kid. The fact that he was able to, in black gear, put the black gear on, get onto that roof, make the shot, get down off the roof, run away, get to his car, and drive. You know how far St. George is from Provo? Close to 300 miles. Drove all the way to Provo, nothing. If he'd have kept going to the Mexican border, they probably still wouldn't have found him. That's to blame on this. Security? Charlie Kirk's private security? Nah, yeah, big time. Are you kidding me? I mean, he wasn't that far away, and he's on a roof for some time, dressed in black. Campus police? Oh, yes, there's a lot of freaking... I mean, this should have never happened. It's a nightmare that it did. And like I said, I want to say this because Weber State is the gold standard. The chief of police here is excellent. I know all these guys. They are so engaged with everybody and anything. They have excellent surveillance. They're type of people they hire, their communication skills. I mean, this is the gold standard. Weber State University. Campus police is the best in the country. I'm not kidding you. I mean, it's incredible. And it didn't used to be. We're talking 20 years ago, and Kevin Blanch, part of my activism is moving it towards there, no doubt. And I do not believe in violence. I really don't. I think, well, it's horrific what happened. I mean, it's actually heartbreaking. And like, again, I don't agree with one single thing, Charlie Kirk. But you do, and Max Blumenthal's done some great work, which he always does. He was having an epiphany. There's no doubt about that. Just like Tucker Carlson, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, when you wake up and you know you've been betrayed by the whole BB cult, it's heartbreaking. It hurts you. I mean, I'm sure Tucker Carlson's going through some serious soul searching because he pounded this narrative. Same with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Charlie was a young dude. He was a young guy, really young. He was having an awakening and saying, wait a minute, whoa, this should have never happened. And what this young guy's motive, I don't know. You know, who put him up to it, whatever, I don't know. But, growing up in southern Utah, the gun culture, and like I said, he was no dummy. I mean, this kid, 22 years old, but who's to blame for this? This should have never, ever happened. Campus police? Oh, hell yes. And I don't agree with Governor Cox on anything. Me and him are on the exact opposite, as you know. And I know Governor Cox. We're on the exact opposite spectrum, especially with the nuclear hub thing. C versus I. And his rhetoric is, he talks a big game, but his rhetoric's not good. He goes on national television, starts talking about far left. There's your problem. His passive aggressive freaking, he says one thing, but that's not what he means. He says, we need to disagree better. Amen. The country's broken. Amen. But then he goes on national TV and starts that. Listen, far left, far right rhetoric, that's bullshit. I mean, cordial conversations are dangerous. Passionate, intelligent arguments get results. Charlie Kirk's passionate, and Charlie Kirk was no dummy, intelligent dude. But I didn't agree with anything he said. But I think it's very sad what we've done to the First Amendment. And both sides have done it. You can't sit and point out, far right, far left. Trump's caused so much. I mean, Trump's hate is over the top. I mean, J.D. Vance was right here on this campus. J.D. Bowman. And here they're droning people in Venezuela. They're supposedly, well, come on. J.D. Vance's mom was a dope dealer. a meth dealer. For real, look it up. So, George Hodson Zinn. That dude is, oh God, I've known him and he's a total crackpot, always been a crackpot. Every time he gets around, he'll come right up to me all the time, because I'm in so many events and I get away from him. And like I said, I absolutely do not believe in violence, any sort of it, any of it. I'm pretty intense, Loud. I'm about the First Amendment. You should be able to say what the hell you want in this country, because that opens up dialogue. Charlie Kirk opened up a lot of dialogue on a lot of heavy subject. It's heartbreaking that this happened. This should have never happened. Charlie Kirk was having an epiphany the last several months. You listen to him, he was waking up, like everybody is in this country right now on the Middle East of Eden. How convenient, right? Who put this young guy up to this? I don't know, but there's another dynamic. He's from down there in southern Utah. The Mountain Meadow Massacre, same day. That happened on September, 10th, 11th. And evangelicals versus Mormon. Oh boy. I mean, the whole thing is so twisted. But George, I know, he's a crackpot. Everybody knows. Anybody thinks that, well, his distraction, I did it, doesn't surprise me one bit. He was screaming, I did it. The dude was always seeking center of attention. Every rally, everything you ever went to. And he was always a crackpot. And every single cop in this state, that had anybody, all knows him. And now he comes out and says, hey, I got child pornography on my phone. What the fuck? The dude always rubbed me wrong. Always. And I've known him for 50 years. He's at everything. I remember we were down at the Union Station on the 100-year capsule, and he's right up front, Carl's right up there, got to get in the middle of everything. We're at the spring football game here at Weber, right there. I'm talking to some players I know, and he got to get right in the middle. I'm like, dude, he's a freaking nutcase. But anybody that believed he did it, and screaming in the crowd, that's total horseshit. But, I always thought he was a whack job. It sounds like they got him now. Here come the geese. It's that time of year, right? So I want to put this up. I put a video up immediately right after. I know this guy. As soon as I saw the picture of him, I'm like, whoa. Everybody knows him in this state. But who's to blame? Well, I agree with Governor Cox on one line. That's the only line. But he, what he says, and he talks with such passive-aggressive rhetoric. When he goes off on far left, that's bullshit. Far right, that's bullshit too. First Amendment, that's not who did this. That's not who did this. The kid made the choice. I don't know, man, but the fact that there was no security there boggles my mind. Very similar to the Trump attempt. And, this is not a political figure. He's a vlogger. He's a blogger. He's a political activist. He's not a politician. He doesn't have Secret Service protection. But I'm sure he had his own detail. But campus police, fuck. Are you kidding? 30,000 people there with this guy this controversial, and they don't have even a drone in the air? In this day and age, you don't have a surveillance room on a university of that size? Blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. But George is a fucking crackpot. Always a whacker. He got my face right over there. I'm protesting the greenwashing bus. Just holding up my sign. I'm standing with the president of the university, who I'm friends with. I'm like, because this so-called electric bus system they spent so much money on here, it's not green. Where do we get our electricity from here? Bill Gates and Warren Buffett's coal plants. Why not the sun? Well, go ask Governor Cox. So, Anyway, I want to put this up. I'm born and raised in Utah. Everybody knows this guy. I mean, everybody. And how this happened should have never happened. You know, campus police, what a joke down there. Charlie Kirk's own personal detail, I'm sure he had it. What a joke. How this, and anybody says, oh, he can't shoot, please, this kid been shooting since he was a little boy. You know, and I mean, he was no dummy. But the whole thing's, well, it's twisted, it's sad. Anyway, I got more work to do. Stand tuned.